everybody, and welcome back to the Up the Guts podcast. Joining as always is your host, Trent D'Alton. And yes, we are nearly at the end of this round 13, with 2 games to be played out today. We have still... Round 14, sorry, I should say. We have still got Port Adelaide to be played out. As I record this, that will be, what's the time now? In an hour's time. And then West Coast and Carlton to round off this round. But let's get into doing what I would normally rank with all the games that have been played right now. Again, if it's your first time watching the review episode, let me quickly go over the tier list. Top of the tier list is Elite. Next is Contenders. Decent, disappointing, 5 a.m. St Kilda Beach. That's my rankings for each round. So let's, further ado, let's start previewing the games that have been played already. Starting off with Thursday night between the Saints and the Bulldogs. Let's go. Right, so the Saints and the Bulldogs on Thursday night at Marvel Stadium. And geez, don't the Bulldogs love playing the Saints? They have done it again, thrashing the Saints at Marvel Stadium by 72 points, 8-12-60 to... Western Bulldogs, 20-12-132. It was only single goal kickers for the Saints. As for the Bulldogs, it was a big welcome back to Sam Darcy, who kicked 3, but also had 19 disposals, 9 marks, 5 marks inside 50. And also, surprisingly, I was surprised that Luke Beveridge went with chucking him in the ruck, coming back from a significant injury, but did also get the 8 hit-outs. And it's just going to be a question, is this the move that they needed? Is this the player that they needed to come back for them to race into more of a finals contention now? Because as we're talking right now, the Bulldogs currently do sit ninth, and they're 1 game out of the 8. Is Sam Darcy the trump card? Is that who's been missing? Obviously, Aaron Norton has been out of form, but now with Darcy back, it's taken the load off Norton, who also went and kicked 3 goals as well as Sam Darcy. Karmas also kicked 2. Matt Keddy, I've gave him his praise so many times in this podcast to pick up, but since getting him from Carlton, he kicked 2. And the rest were single goal kickers. Wangini Malira, although had plenty of the ball for the Saints, didn't use it to the best of the ability that we're used to Wangini Malira having. He had 31 disposals to go of a goal, 9 marks, 7 intercepts, 7 rebound 50s, 7 score on 604 minutes game, but just didn't use it to the quality that we have become used to for Wangini Malira. Sinclair in his 200th game, he had 30 disposals, 9 score on 622 metres gained. That 200 game has crept up on, I don't say myself, it's crept up on me. I didn't realise he was at 200 games already, because I know early in his career, he was very hit and miss, very inconsistent, in and out of the side. They didn't know how to use him. They wanted to use him as a midfielder, couldn't quite break into that midfield team. This is when Jack Steele was at his prime best. Couldn't quite break into it. Then they found a spot for him off half back, and since then hasn't really looked back. So... great. It's been a great 200 games there for Sinclair after starting off rusty. Dale off half-back just had the ball on a string. 36 disposals, going at 89% efficiency. Kennedy, as I mentioned, had 29, also kicking 2. Liberatoria had 29, 5 clearances and 7 tackles. Treloar had 28, going at a surprising 82% efficiency. He not normally knows that, but then he was doing his work centre forward of the ground, so he kicked a goal, but also had 4 goal assists, which is huge. Williams off the wing had 27 to go on with 17 marks. And 696 metres gained. So 17 marks coming from just 27 disposals is huge. Williams getting back behind the ball and intercepting a lot of them. It had 6 intercepts to go on there. Richards, 25, kicked a goal to go along with it. Also had 7 clearances and 11 score involvements. I mentioned welcome back Sam Darcy, but one tick that Ross can have from the game is Marcus Winghager's tag on Marcus Montepelli. Really, it was a real hard tag. Just followed him wherever he went, limited his building, and limited Bont to just 14 disposals, 3 clearance and 5 score involvements. Windhager on the other end had 16 and a goal, and it's a big tick for Ross Lyon and Marcus Windhager. And the other one I had is Hunter Clark in trouble for his tackle on Matt Kennedy. Now, as I'm talking to you guys, I haven't seen anything come through, but just want to scroll through and see if there has been anything on AFL.com. So at the moment, all I can see with Hunter Clark is that he got a $2,000 fine for careless contact with a umpire in the third quarter. Just going to scroll up a little bit here, but other than that, I cannot see anything from that tackle No. So there's nothing that I can see from that tackle. So, yeah, I just thought that would be a watch. But as for the performance, Western Bulldogs have to go in elite. I've just noticed that I've changed excellent to elite, but we'll stick to that for now unless... should we stick to it? No, we'll stick with elite. We'll change it up. Change it to elite. Western Bulldogs there. And St Kilda, 5 a.m. St Kilda Beach. That was piss poor, to be fair. Then we move over to Friday night, and this game was exactly the reason, one, why Tasmania's new stadium needs a roof, because of the weather down there. It got down to 1 degrees or negative 1 degrees, but it was absolute freezing. Rain coming in as well. But it just also shows why, especially without a roof right now, why the hell are we doing Friday night games in Tassie? Why? We knew we weren't going to be able to sell out a crowd there. Well, no, sorry. We weren't going to get the same amount of people there. Home fans are going to have to travel. And why would we want to be watching that on a Friday night game, especially when performances like 6-11-47, the Hawks getting the job done by 5-14-84. Now, if I pull up, I believe Sench... I won't even bother pulling it up. I know what it was. Shout out to Sench Footy, but Adelaide's projected score if they kick straight was 84. So at the end of the day, they should have won this game so much easier. But it was just a poor game. Gunston and McDonald for the Hawks kicked the 2. Keys kicked 2 for the Crows. Impey had 28. Moore had 23 and 13 tackles. And Weddle keeps building since staying at halfback now. I just want him to stay there. 23, 6 marks, 7 intercepts, 683 metres gained. Dawson had 24 with 7 tackles, and Rankin had 23 and a goal. But it was a poor game, poor kicking. Do not want to talk about it very much, purely because it was at Tassie. I'm just going to put them both in disappointing. Now we move over to Saturday, and I was actually calling at this point, but I was keeping plenty of tabs on this game, and also went back and watched the mini on KO Sports. But it was the Giants, after I gave them their bake, really responding, and I'm so happy that they did respond, because as I mentioned, I tipped them for the flag earlier this season. I've got high raps on the Giants, but they've just been so hot and cold. But I've said this to people, this win, while it does impress me, I want to see them back it up. We've seen them win really good games and then fall off the next week. So I think more about, if I have a look, they got the bye next week. No, so next week they play Gold Coast, so that at NG Stadium. They need to be beating Gold Coast at home. So that's where I want to put a circle around it. This game, really good win, but they need to back it up again next week against Gold Coast, who are a red-hot team this season as well. But it was a really good game, and they did in the end get the job done by 11 points. Brisbane Lions 13-18, 96, defeated by a straight-kicking Giants, 17-5, 107. Morris kicked 5. Hogan and Cadman combined for 11 goals, 6 goals and 5 goals, while Brown also kicked the 3. We'll touch on them in a second. Zorko for the Lions led the way for disposals with 26 disposals, 11 intercepts. McCluggage had 25, a goal and 10 score moments, while Neal also had 25, a goal and 10 clearances. Whitfield, after playing a bit at half forward, went back to half back, had 33, going 88% efficiency, 9 rebound 50s, and 650 metres gain. I'm just going to move this up here. I'm just going to take it off charge, stuff it. So it's easier for me to look, so I'm looking up here more. But welcome back, Finn Callahan. He's came back on fire. Is this the midfielder that they were missing? I think it might be, because now it takes the load a bit more off Tom Green to be the person who has to burst away. But Callahan, 32 disposals, going at 84% efficiency, 5 clearances and 2 goals. His big welcome back there. Lockie Ash just continues his all-Australian type season with 31 disposals, 7 marks, 8 intercepts, 11 rebound 50s, and 625 metres gain. And this allowed Tom Green to play, again, this type of game. 26 disposals, 15 contested, 11 clearances, 2 goal assists, and 9 score moments. We mentioned the key forwards takeover. Jesse Hogan proves why he's still the number 1 key forward in the game. But this was Aaron Cadman's breakout game. Number 1 pick a couple of years ago, but this is a game where he really took control. 5 goals, 1 he kicked, but he also had 19 disposals and took a whopping 13 marks, 6 of them inside 50. He was just clunking absolutely everything, and we've seen it the last few weeks of Cadman slowly building. We've seen how good of a mark he is. We just hadn't seen him really take a game by the scruff of his neck. This was the game that Cadman took it by the scruff of the neck and showed why the Giants had so much faith with him when they took him with the number 1 draft pick. So it was really good to see. Now, I did see something on this as well. So Jack Payne did suffer a serious injury in the second quarter. As I was looking for to see if Hunter Clark had been suspended yet, saw this. Scans have confirmed Brisbane defender Jack Payne has ruptured his patellar tendon, meaning he will miss the rest of the season. So that is not... That thoughts go out to Jack Payne, who's a really solid key defender, helps with like a Harris Andrews back then. The way it impacted the game too is it meant Eric Hipwood had to go back into defence to play a more role that he's not used to as a key defender. But this did allow Logan Morris to take advantage, and he can hold his head up high too as the number one key forward down there with Eric Hipwood. Well, I would argue Logan Morris is the number one key forward, but would say the only real tall forward down there. Sam Day, I forgot Sam Day played. My apologies, but you know what I'm getting at. So, Logan Morris took advantage of this, kicking the five goals, 15 disposals, 7 marks, and 5 of them inside 50. I mentioned Sam Day was back. I believe that was his first goal for the club or second goal, but it was also Brendan Starcevic's first goal back since having real troubles with concussion. But the one thing that stood out for the Giants was their ball movement that was back. They were running that orange tsunami. Linking up through handballs and just storming off the back line. Is this, I don't know, was this the bait that they needed, the game that they needed? No, you know what, stuff it, I'm taking credit for it. No, but seriously, I think they had a real eye-opener game last week going, geez, we really need to put our shit together because that was appalling. And then they just brought the running game, the handball off half-back and linking up and then running and hitting with clean possession was nowhere to be seen for the past, I'd say a month. But that was back and it was really good to see. So as for the Giants, they go in excellent. And a big query over the Brisbane Lions. I've mentioned, I'm going to put them in contenders. While they sit second on the ladder, do they hold second or Geelong jumped them? Geelong have jumped them and they've dropped down the third. But while they were second on the ladder, I thought they'd been just so, really poor in a lot of quarters and then just knew the right time, like in the second half, to when to turn it on. And when they turned it on, they like the Brisbane Lions that we knew. But they were too hot and cold. So it's something Brisbane Lions have got to want to get right coming into the later back into the season. Oh, geez. Next game. Essendon supporters, I feel for you. You're so inexperienced. You got no one down there and back, which allows the key forwards to cash in. But going down to the Catters by 95 points, it's the biggest score that Geelong have kicked this season. 88-56 Essendon defeated by 23-13, 151. Guelphy and Wright kicked the 2 for the Bombers. The key forwards cashed in for the Cats with kicking 10 between them. Cameron with 6, Neil with 4, Manor with 3, Dempsey with 2, and Dangerfield also with 2. Setterfield was really good in the stoppage there. 31 disposals, 10 tackles, and 5 clearances. Merritt had 29, 4 goal assists. I'm really liking the look of Zach Johnson. He had 29, going 83% efficiency. They found one there. Pryor had 28, Colwell had 28 and 8 clearances and 10 tackles as well. But Smith. It makes you question, was it really a hamstring or was it the AFL after the visit saying, you're having a week off? But a conspiracy going on there because for a 1-week cammy, he's come back and had 41 disposals, 6 clearances, 9 inside 50s, 2 goal assists, 9 score and 765 metres gain. So like the Willie Rioli thing, are the AFL trying to play sneaky buggers again? Because this doesn't look like a hamstring soreness to me. AFL, you think you're smarter than the fans and the supporters, but don't worry. We know exactly what you're doing. You're not smart. But Holmes also was electric with 36 disposals, 81% efficiency to go along with a goal, 8 clearances, 10 inside 50s, and 871 metres gain. Myers doing what he does best off the half-forward line, had 25, a goal, 2 goal assists, and 7 score involvements. We mentioned Cats dominated, but they had 11 individual goal kickers. So that's a big tick for them. 23 goals that they kicked. Key defender Sam DeCoding left the ground, grabbing his left wrist in the second quarter. So as I go here, I don't think there's any update. Let's have a look on AFL.com as I had it open. No, so nothing up there. Yeah. And but the big one was the Scott brothers. They actually combined for 1,000 AFL games. So that's with playing and coaching. That's a huge milestone. Like combining for 1,000 games. Just think about that. Just think about that for a second. So I want to, if I go to the match report, I'm sure, I know at the bottom it'll have, I want to know what the split, I want to see if they have the split. Okay, so if we go here, I didn't even, oh, you learned something new. Didn't even know Brad Scott played at Hawthorn. I didn't even know Brad played at Hawthorn. Chris played. Yeah, I thought they both were just Brisbane's. So Brad played 168 games. Brad Scott played 168 games at Hawthorn and Brisbane, and has coached 270 at North Melbourne Essendon. While Chris played 215 for the Lions, and has been coaching Geelong for 348 games. So that's astounding. You don't see that type of stuff. But Geelong, this is why I think they're so scary, and you can't ride them. You can't write them off for the flag. They go straight into excellent. And Bombers, there's no really other spot you can put yourself, is there? As harsh as it sounds, but now we go with the Saturday night blockbuster. I don't know why North Melbourne are playing another game in Perth, and I don't know why they're headlining a Saturday night game at a home game at Optus Stadium against Fremantle. Don't know what's going on. It is a joke, but they nearly got the job done. They nearly went two from two playing away. It was almost like they wanted to move to Perth themselves, but they ended up going down by 6 points, 10-7-67 to 10-13-73, thanks to a Luke Jackson snap in the dime minutes of the game to put the Dockers in front. The goal kickers for the Kangaroos, Larkey kicked 3, while Parker kicked 2. Patrick Voss was huge for the Dockers, clunking everything and put through 3. Jackson, we mentioned, kicked the game winner, but also kicked 2. As for disposals, Sheasel had 32 to go over the goal and 6 tackles. McKercher had 27, but really butchered the footy, 626 metres gain. Stevens had 27. Darius Uniacke was really good early, but then went a bit quiet in the other 3 quarters, but 27 a goal and 6 clearances. McDonald had a huge game, 27, 8 marks, 12 interceptions, 580 metres gain. Sarong and Brayshaw just dominated through the middle, 36 disposals for Sarong, a goal, 8 clearances, 10 tackles. Brayshaw, 31, 9 clearances, 9 tackles, 8 score roll and 679 metres gain. And then down back, Clark had 26, 8 rebound 50s, 7 score robbers, and 713 metres gain. Now, the Dockers just got away with this one. They led by 28 points in the last quarter, but the Kangaroos didn't go down without a fight, piling on goals to lead by a point in just the final minutes of the game until Luke Jackson potted that one through for a goal. So I think it's a positive sign for the Kangaroos to be able to hold on. Or flip the script, is it a negative on Fremantle? I know rain came down during the game at one point, but is it a negative for Fremantle? But I thought North were quite impressive. That's just my point of view. LDU was everywhere in the first quarter. As we mentioned, he went a bit quiet the next 3 quarters, but he had 13 disposals, 4 clearances, and a goal just in the first quarter. But then only had 14. Then only had 14 disposals. Where is he? 14 disposals and 2 more clearances for the rest of the game. So did all his damage in the first quarter, but it's not terrible by all means, but it's not his best. But North Melbourne, to me, I'm going to put him in the decent category, but I'm also going to put the Freo in the decent category. I don't think Freo were outstanding, just holding on to the win, but I thought Kangaroos can definitely hold their head up high, and it's the end of their trips down in Perth. They'll have to come back home now until then. Well, there are my rankings for the games that have been played so far. We'll quickly go over it. In the elite category so far, I've got the Bulldogs, Giants, Geelong. In the contenders, I got Brisbane Lions. Decent, I got North Melbourne and Fremantle. Disappointing, Hawthorn and Adelaide. 5 a.m. St Kilda Beach. I got St Kilda just around the corner for you guys, and Essendon. Well, there you have it, guys. There is my rankings for those games. The 2 games to still come today are Port Adelaide and Melbourne, 3:20 p.m. at the Adelaide Oval. So that is in 39 minutes' time. And then West Coast and Carlton close it off at Optus Stadium. So there's those rankings, and I'll see you guys again tomorrow to review those last 2 games. See you then. Okay, yes, guys, welcome back. We are now back here on Monday evening, and we're here to go over the last 2 games that happened on Sunday. And the first game up was actually a reasonably good game. Port Adelaide v Melbourne at the Adelaide Oval. And it was Port Adelaide who got the job done there. No, I'm just going to put it there. Sorry, I was fiddling with my notes. Port Adelaide did get the job done there by 25 points, 49 to 93, defeated 9-14-68. And it was a big help by the big forward, Mitch Georgiades. Now, I've always had big raps on Mitch Georgiades. I love Georgiades, one of them. Always like the way he plays. I love the way he's a little bit undersized, but he's got a great leap and great set of hands, really leaps at the ball and takes the ball at its highest point. He kicked 7 and gave Stephen May an absolute bath. After what we saw from Stephen May last week, Max Gordon, that this was the last thing that he would have wanted to happen. I saw someone, as harsh as this sounds, I saw someone comment saying, does Max Gordon now have the right to abuse Stephen May after the siren? But Georgiades kicked 7 goals, 4, had 18 disposals, took 10 marks, and 8 of them inside 50. So he was dominant, had no answer for him. Burn Jones kicked 2. Horn Francis was welcomed back into the side and picked up where he left off. He had kicked a goal, but to go along with 29 disposals, 7 clearances, 7 marks, and 8 score involved. So he was huge. Pickett was really good in the first half, had 14 disposals and 3 goals. In 3 goals in the first half, but then only had 2 disposals from then on. Now, we know he had got a bit of a head knock past the HIA test, but then he had a bit of a knock to the glute. So we're wondering if that head knock has anything to do with it. I just want to double. I'm not supposed to open that. Sorry, guys. I just want to double check. Do Melbourne? Oh, voice cracked. So Melbourne do have the bye, so that's going to help them. I would love to see what would happen if he didn't have the bye, to see if anything else would have come from that. But he was really good at showing why he was paid that big money after signing that big contract, 12 over 9. Showing he was worth every cent when he had 14-3 in the first half, which is absolutely turning it on. He's their game changer in that midfield. It's no longer Christian Petrarca, it's Cosy Pickett, the game changer in the midfield. Who else? We move up here. Fritsch also kicked 2, and Van Rooyen kicked 2 in the first quarter. It looked like Van Rooyen could have been a real good asset to them in the first quarter, but then just went missing for the rest of the game. Rosie was exceptional off half back, but then when the game was on the line, Ken Hinkley backed his skipper in and put him in the midfield, and he was phenomenal. 32 disposals, 5 clearances, 12 rebound 50s, and 776 metres game. We mentioned Horn Francis. Butters worked hard to work off that tag and did really well. 27 going to 82%. Efficiency in 8 score involvements. Well, Burton also, I thought that was Butters, I'd written down twice, but Burton had 26, 7 marks and 8 intercepts. Oliver battled hard with 26, 6 tackles and 7 score involvements lead the way, while Max Gawn also battled hard in the ruck against a double team of Vizentini and Jordan Sweetbig. Easily got the chocolates in that one. 23 disposals, 36 hitouts, 8 marks, 7 intercepts, and 7 score involvements. Another player I would like to highlight for their performance is Savarati Galea. I reckon he had arguably his best game of his career. That Melbourne just kept kicking the ball to him. It was really strange why they kept kicking to him. I believe he had 8 intercept marks in the end, but he had 18 disposals, going 89% efficiency, 13 marks and 12 intercepts, and I believe 8 of them were intercept marks. Now, is Jug McVee in trouble for his high here on Joe Richards? I'm going to quickly open up. It would be at the top if it's anything. No, I can't see anything here. But we do have a Rising Star nomination, and it's Tyrell Dewar, who's got the Rising Star nomination from the West Coast Eagles. So well done to Tyrell. As we go back over here. So no, nothing on John McVee, but I believe he has got he has clipped him high, elected to bump, so I expect him to pick up a week for that. I thought the hit was a bit bigger than it was. I thought he was going to stay down longer, but he did get up and managed to move on with the play. As for Port Adelaide, I'm going to put him... I'm actually going to put him in excellent. I thought they were really impressive. I thought it was a really good game, and I thought Melbourne were decent. They were decent. They were nothing outstanding, but they were decent. Then we go to the last game of the round. Now, there's not much I want to talk about this game at all, but it was Carlton getting the job done by 34 points. It's not a win they want to really celebrate, I don't think. Williams kicked 3 for the Eagles. Williams kicked 3. I'm going to assume, was that Bailey Williams or Jack Williams? Let's have a look. Bailey Williams kicked 3. And then for the Blues, Fogarty kicked 3. Fogarty and McGovern both kicked 3 each, while Williams kicked the 2. McCarthy now, what a story this is. What's his first name again? Obviously the number 1 mid-season draft pick. Coming in on debut. Oh, Tom McCarthy, there you go. Coming in on debut, 31 disposals, 94% efficiency, 9 intercepts, 7 rebound 50s, and 571 metres gained. That's a huge game. Big raps for him on debut. That's absolutely phenomenal. The Eagles have found one there Reed was also good, probably get one of his highest disposals nearly in his career. I reckon he'd be up there, but 28, 17 of them contested and 5 clearance. We mentioned Tyrell Dewar playing more off half back now, and he got the Rising Star nomination for his 27, 7 rebound 50s, 2 goal assists, 7 score rolls, 843 metres gained. Hewitt does what Hewitt's been doing. He had 35, 7 clearances and 9 score rolls. Chera had 30, Binns had 26, and Saad had 25, going at 84% efficiency and 7 intercepts. Now, the only thing you really want to talk about is the West Coast Eagles' first quarter, and it was piss poor, and I liked that McQualter came out and said it was pathetic. I really liked that response, him coming out and saying that. But other than that, there is not really much to write home about this game other than Charlie Curnow going down in the first half. Now, we don't know what exactly he has done, but I'm sure we'll hear about it very soon. For Carlton, they can go in decent because they got the win, but the West Coast Eagles go in disappointing for me. Now, let's have a quick look at this. I don't normally do this in this episode, but I reckon we will do it this time. Let's have a look at how the ladder sits after the round we just had of round 14. So the top 8 goes as Collingwood on 44 points. Now, on 40 points in second place, storming home, and I think they could be the number 1 seed as well, is Geelong. Third place on 38 points is Brisbane Lions. And 4th and 5th are Adelaide and Hawthorn on 36. Gold Coast, then it goes Gold Coast Suns, GWS, Fremantle, 6th to 8th on 32 points. In 9th place on 28 points, you've got the Western Bulldogs. In 10th, and that Sam Darcy card could be a big factor that they could storm in. On 24 points, you've got Carlton, Port Adelaide, Essendon. That's 10, 11 and 12. 20 points, Sydney Swans, St Kilda, Melbourne. Then 14 points, you got North Melbourne. 12 points in 17th, you got Richmond. And bottom of the ladder with just the 1 win is the West Coast Eagles. There you have it, guys. There is my preview. Let's quickly go back and have a look how I ranked each team's performances after round 14. In the elite category, I've got Western Bulldogs, GWS Giants, Geelong, and Port Adelaide. Contenders, I got the Brisbane Lions, then that's the only one, Brisbane Lions. Decent, I got North Melbourne, Fremantle, Melbourne, and Carlton. Disappointing, Hawthorn, Adelaide, West Coast, and 5am St Kilda Beach. I got St Kilda and Essendon. Well, there you have it, guys. There is my whole preview of round 14. Thank you guys for watching and listening. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to leave a like and comment on the video or on the podcast, wherever you're listening or watching this to. But if you're watching this on YouTube, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss an upload. We have managed to hit that 200 subscriber mark that I've been advertising that I want to hit for the last probably few weeks to a month. So thank you guys for getting me to that 200 subscribers. Let's keep pushing it forward and forward. I've got a big YouTube video coming up with a former guest. Recorded it on Friday, and that should be dropping sometime this week. So stay tuned for that one. And if you're listening to this on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, make sure to leave a like and comment. Hit the follow button, turn on the notification bell so you don't miss whenever we upload, and share it to a mate you think might enjoy this. And most importantly, guys, please remember to leave a 5-star rating, as that does help get the show out there to newer listeners. But thank you guys for listening, and until next time, I'll see you guys then.